I've just seen Simon Pegg's new film, A Fantastic Fear of Everything. Simon Pegg stars in the film. He's also the executive producer. Now, there are two directors of this film, Chris Hopewell, who has directed music videos such as Radiohead's There There, which I'm a big fan of, and also Crispian Mills, who is formerly of Cooler Shaker. Now, Crispian Mills wrote the film, and this is his directorial debut. The film itself is dreadful. It's a terrible piece of cinema. It is inane, the script is infantile, it is boring, a real dull, horrible piece. Now, it shouldn't have been, because there are great visuals in the film. There are some nice little sequences, which I presume are down to Chris Hopewell, because the set design is gorgeous, but also there are two sequences which I'm a particular fan of, where it briefly comes to life. One is when Simon Pegg is on the phone to his therapist, and the therapist takes him into an imaginary world, he takes him into his past, the visuals become interesting as Simon Pegg is able to explore what his possible problems are. There's also another sequence where Simon Pegg is telling one of his stories, and you get a beautiful sequence where it's stop motion, animated, and again it's quite interesting. Now, I didn't know if this was a comedy or a horror. It certainly wasn't scary, because anything that could possibly have made you jump you could see coming a mile off, and occasionally a joke might have limped at you, but it really wasn't funny, and you find yourself just staring at the screen thinking, really? It's not a great film at all. It had an interesting premise, and it should have stuck with it and perhaps explored it a bit more. Simon Pegg is a children's writer. He didn't mean to be a children's writer, it's an accident, and he wants to break out of this. So he wants to break out of it by writing a murder mystery script, but as he's doing the research into Victorian murders, he becomes obsessed with the idea that someone's going to murder him, and he becomes afraid of everything. That in itself is a nice idea, but the tone is off, the script is boring, and as I mentioned, it's quite childishly written. It goes nowhere, and it's badly put together. I didn't enjoy it at all.